Hey everyone, welcome back to our live trading session. This is going to be our NFP night, and welcome to February. Okay, audio should be coming through okay from my side, but let me know if there's any issues and we'll get started. My name is Jero. Welcome to our news trading session. This is going to be the first one. It's going to be Nonfarm Payroll. Okay, just a quick disclaimer, any opinion discussed in this webinar or link to this presentation is provided as a general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. News trading involves risks due to high volatility. Market reaction to news can be swift and unpredictable, which leads to high trading risks and delays in order execution. So be very attentive when determining the volume of your transactions and consider all possible risk factors. All right. As per usual, we're going to show you the bonus for participants, which is the promo code 2 deposit bonus, and you should already have access to the private Telegram channel if you registered through emails. You should be receiving that link on your email, or if you have previously attended our sessions, you should already be in that Telegram channel. But yeah, if you're not and you haven't registered on the website, feel free to contact customer service. They'll be more than happy to add you in there to the Telegram channel. All right, this is the code. Wrong chart, but yeah, old code. This is Nonfarm 2024. The code is Nonfarm 2025. So make sure you use the right code. I forgot to update the slides for this one here. It's Nonfarm 2025. It is valid until the 31st of December 2025. All right. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Jero, and I've been a full-time trader with over 20 years of experience. It will be 23 years this month. But yeah, I've been a professional trading coach and technical analyst for several brokers in Australia, Japan, as well as the US since 2007. My expertise is in the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo technique, which is a Japanese charting technique, and you should be able to find that session on the Octa's YouTube channel. Just type in Japanese charting techniques and you should be able to find it if you're curious about what Ichimoku Kinko Hyo is. And I've also been invited as a guest speaker at Trading Investing Expo across Australia, Investment in Singapore, as well as the ATAA and the APTA conferences, which is the Australian Technical Analysts Association. All right, so let's go through very quickly a couple of the theory first for those that have joined us for the first time and just wondering, you just first got into trading and wondering, okay, what is the big deal with the Nonfarm Payroll? Why are we looking at the unemployment rate and whatnot? So let me give you a little bit of a rundown into who is actually collecting this. It is the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the US, which is a federal agency that collects and disseminates various data about the US economy as well as the labor market. Its reports includes the CPI number, which is what we're going to be trading next week on the 12th, all right, of February. We will be trading the CPI numbers live as well as the PPI numbers as well. Those are released by the BLS and they are considered very important measures for inflation. All right, so within the labor market data, the most interesting aspects are obviously the number of people employed outside agriculture, and this is why it's called non-farm payroll. So anything that is not farming related goes into the non-farm payroll. The NFP numbers that we are looking at tonight, it's different from the ADP that was usually released on Wednesday. That's a private payroll. This is the one that's collected by the government themselves, which is the BLS, okay? And the other thing also, we are going to be looking at the unemployment rate as well. So yeah, at the very beginning of the year, agency publishes a calendar with the release date for the entire year. Unemployment data is published every first Friday of the month, which is today. But if it falls on a holiday, publication usually postponed to the following week and occasionally to the Thursday of that week. Next month, we're not going to do that on the first Friday. We will do it on the second Friday. Just because it's February, month ends a little bit earlier. Data is usually released on the second Friday of that month. All right. So yeah, inflation data, which is something that we are going to be trading live. That's going to be next Wednesday. That's basically when it's usually published. Anyways, okay. So what is the non-farm payroll? Oh, thanks, Wolvin. Thanks for the code. It's non-farm 2025. I keep forgetting to update this, but yeah. Okay, so what is the non-farm payroll? It is a report that is released monthly by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS that we just talked about. that measures the number of jobs added or lost in the US economy, excluding farm-related jobs, private household employment. So if you're self-employed or you run your own business, from home, that's not going to be part of the NFP numbers, okay? As well as non-profit organizations. And basically with the NFP numbers, as analysts and investors basically look for NFP figures above 200,000 as it's seen as a positive sign of a healthy job gain in the market, as an indication of a growing economy. However, the interpretation of the NFP data can vary depending on different economic factors and the context it is released in. Just to give you guys a little bit of a context into what we're looking at tonight, we will be looking at a number that's below 200,000 at this point in time. That's basically the consensus. Last month's number, which is the December employment numbers, the NFP was high. It was 100,000 above the consensus. So that was, it's not something we see every month. But if we do see that this time around, then yeah, I think we might actually see kind of a lot of reversal in the market going on. So just keep that in mind. So we will talk about the context of things are for this month when we look at the expected numbers later on. Okay, so this number is a crucial indicator of the state of the US labor market and can significantly impact financial markets. A figure that falls below market expectations may be viewed negatively, while one that exceeds expectations are going to be viewed positively. And especially true for tonight as well. Now, NFP figures very closely watched by traders and investors, particularly in the Forex market. This is one of those data that does move the market significantly in terms of the Forex market. Currency pairs like the Euro USD, dollar yen, dollar CAD, pound USD, New Zealand USD, they do exhibit high volatility in response to the report release, especially if there's a huge difference from what the market consensus is. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for tonight as well. Okay. Again, it's very important because we see a lot of volatility in the market, and basically a lot of traders kind of develop their special non-farm strategies. We are going to be sharing you, the one that we typically use, which is very simple. Yeah, but do keep in mind, because of that sudden reaction to the market, it does kind of create a lot of noise. And because of this noise, if you're using your technical analysis and whatnot, you have to factor in the noise there. Because depending on how extreme the volatility is, it can actually skew your usual trading techniques. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Now, according to the BLS, NFP employees classifications account for approximately 80% of the U.S. business sectors, contributing to the GDP numbers. So if we have the job market shrinking, especially with the NFP numbers not gaining significantly, then we will kind of expect the GDP to kind of shrink with it as well. So just keep that in mind. This is all interconnected. We're not just looking at one data and then be done with it. Obviously, it's news trading. It will be different. But if you're trying to figure out the fundamentals behind it, they're all interconnected. And again, the best currencies, the best assets to trade non-farm payroll numbers are going to be the Euro USD, dollar yen, dollar Swiss, Aussie USD, New Zealand USD, dollar Canadian, pound USD. We do get volatility in gold as well, and I think nowadays, crypto does get their volatilities as well. Okay. The other set of data is actually the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is calculated in percentage, and it is published at the same time as the NFP numbers. The unemployment rate represents a proportion of the labor force that is currently not employed but is capable of being employed. So the US unemployment rate is determined through a survey of approximately 60,000 households. Now, there are obviously criteria for someone to be included in the survey, and according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, they must meet the following criteria. Number one, they must be without a job. Number two, they must have actively looked for a job in the past 4 weeks. And number three, they must be available to start a job if offered one. Now, this is a very similar system to a lot of countries. Like in Australia, requirements are basically the same thing. So for them to actually register that someone is looking for a job and they are actively looking for a job, they usually go to where they claim the unemployment benefits. I don't know what it's called in the US, but in Australia it's called Centrelink. People that are unemployed go to Centrelink. They say, hey, I'm unemployed. I want to take my unemployment benefits, but Centrelink will then say, oh yeah, sure. You know what? Yeah, if you want to get your benefits, please come to the office maybe once or twice every week and apply for jobs here in the system there, whatever is listed. Okay, and this is the reason why we look at JOLTS, job opening numbers, and we also look at weekly unemployment claims. They are very important because for someone to be part of this unemployment rate, they basically need to do all that. And if they're offered a job, if they apply for a job and they're offered one, maybe if it's not their dream job or anything like that, they have to take the roles. These are the people that's going to be part of the unemployment rate that is being published every month. Okay, if a person doesn't meet the criteria, they're not going to be considered unemployed for the purpose of calculating the unemployment rate. Someone actually asked me before during the Q&A sessions that we typically run at the end of the month is, illegal immigrants, are they part of the unemployment rate? The answer is no, because number one, they're illegal. Number two, they are probably not registered in the system in the first place anyway, right? If they're registered, they're probably going to get deported. Okay. All right, the third set of data is the average hourly earnings. Now, this is closely linked to inflation. So this is a report that's also released by the BLS at the same time as the unemployment rate and the NFP number. It measures the average hourly earnings of workers in the US economy. Data is collected through through surveys of businesses across various industries and encompasses both full-time and part-time employees. And traders closely monitor this report as it can offer valuable insights into the state of the US economy and its potential impact on inflation. A lot more on inflation side of things, okay? So when trading based on the US average hourly earnings data, basically what we're looking for is basically the monthly change in terms of wage growth in the US compared to the previous month. So, basically is if we get a higher than expected wage growth, this may indicate potential inflationary pressures, which can result in higher interest rates and currency appreciation. And conversely, a lower than expected wage growth may indicate weaker inflationary pressures, which may lead to lower interest rates and currency depreciation. The logic behind this is if your wages goes up, you are likely to spend more, and if people spend in the economy, that would push inflation up. And so the logic here is very simple in terms of the inflation. If people spend, then yeah, inflation could go up. If people are saving their money, that's where we might actually saw inflation drop a little bit. Okay? All right. So again, we basically need to look at the context on what it is. Is it important at this point in time? It's starting to become important to look at average hourly earnings. A lot of countries, for example, Japan and the UK right now, so Bank of Japan and Bank of England is actually looking at the wage number very closely, because if wages continue to go up, especially in Japan, then they probably need to hike interest rates to anticipate higher inflation. Okay, all right. So a couple of non-farm trading strategies. We are ahead of time, so no rush here. But you can do a couple of things. Some people has already started the NFP trades. This is basically pre-NFP trading. So one strategy is to trade the market's anticipation of the NFP data release. So we got the consensus. We published that on the Outlook last Monday. Basically, you can trade based on that. We're anticipating, the NFP number is likely going to be lower than last month's. So a lot of traders actually look at that and kind of trade based off that. It does involve opening position in the days leading up to the NFP release, with the expectation that the market will begin pricing in the anticipated NFP outcome. So basically, if you are doing this, you need to close your positions before the actual NFP release to avoid extreme volatility that can actually follow through. Now, the one that we do here are what we call the straddle strategy. So it basically involves placing two pending orders, a buy stop and a sell stop. We will have a theory session that's going to be on the 11th which is next Tuesday. We will be doing a theory on that. So if you guys are not sure what a buy stop and a sell stop is, please come to the theory sessions. I know a lot of you guys thought, theory, not really important, but I think it is a really important part on understanding the whole news trading strategy. I think some of you guys probably have attended those before, but if you guys are new, watching this a little bit later, just wondering how to trade the news, I really highly recommend that you guys come into the theory sessions. Next week, theory session is going to be on the 11th, and then the CPI is going to be on the 12th, so it's always a good refresher. Okay? All right, so straddle, again, we're placing a buy stop and a sell stop above and below the current market price just before the NFP release. That way you can potentially profit from a strong price movement in either direction, but keep in mind, once one of the orders is triggered, you need to cancel the other order. You need to be really quick about it. And there are certain criteria where we can deploy straddle strategy, and it does require a certain market condition. Tonight's number, if we look at the market movement, we're not going to be able to straddle a lot of the stuff here tonight. We might be able to do a few, but I think some of the majors, I believe 2 of the majors we're not able to straddle. I believe those Swiss and Sterling. I'm not sure. I haven't checked. Things can change, but the last I checked before we started our sessions, those 2 we are not able to straddle. Okay, so we'll check back on that a little bit later. All right, number 3, we could also fade the initial move, and I think for the past 3 months we have been fading the market. So basically, the strategy involved waiting for the release of the NFP numbers and then observing the initial market reaction. And once the initial volatility subsides, we want to look for opportunities to trade against the initial move during the news release. The approach is basically on the idea that the market often overreacts to the NFP data, and a retracement or reversal is likely to follow. So we are thinking of doing some fade tonight. Either we're doing the fade or we'll move on to post NFP trading, which is not trading during the release, but we're going to be waiting for the market to digest the NFP data and then look for trading opportunities in the hours or days following the release. Strategy allows you to avoid heightened volatility during release and focus on longer term trends that may emerge as a result of the NFP data. So I think tonight we're going to be trading straddle. We'll straddle the market and then we might fade some of them. But I think most of the trades tonight will be really digesting the data and looking for any technical confirmation or things like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter what strategy you choose. You have to keep the following things in mind. You got to manage your risk. Always use appropriate stop loss orders. Never risk more than a small percentage of your trading capital on a single trade. NFP is good if you know how to navigate NFP, but unfortunately, I think maybe about close to 90% of new traders, thinking, oh, you know what, I'll go all in on one position and whatnot, and they just blow their account during the NFP, and I think that's a waste of opportunity. I don't think that's the way we should approach trading, so just keep that in mind as well. Also, stay informed. You need to keep track of economic news, forecasts, market sentiments leading up to the NFP release to make better informed trading decisions as well. You got to be flexible as well. If we look at the NFP numbers and then the market reaction doesn't match to your initial thought, you basically kind of need to be flexible and accept it and then change your strategy. The other thing I want to talk about is sometimes we don't get filled at the price we want, depending on how dry the liquidity is. During news releases, we got heightened volatility, liquidity do dry up as well. Spreads tends to widen as well. So, sometimes we might not get the best price. So just make sure that's part of the risk consideration that you guys are going to be looking at. Okay. All right. Just joining for the first time, can anyone share with me how the previous analysis has been? Hey, Simeon, feel free to look at all our live trading sessions. They're all there. I don't think Octa deletes all of them, but yeah, feel free to take a look at those trades, live trades, and see how it goes. But yeah, temporary visa workers, it won't be counted for BLS. No, I don't think they're going to be counted for BLS. All right, good day. Good day, good day, good day, good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are. Okay, so this is the numbers that we are looking at, the NFP numbers. The previous one was 256,000. Remember, last time we did this, it was a huge surprise, right? Market wasn't expecting 256. Market was in fact expecting about 155 to 160, 155 to 160,000, right? So the consensus tonight, it does widen a little bit from when we posted on Monday. I think on Monday we were looking at consensus of 160. Right now, market consensus has gone up to 170. Forecast is now up to 205, so we could get a number close to 200,000. Any drop below 170, 150, for example, I think 150,000, that would actually shock the market. I think that would actually send the US dollar down. We will see a huge push on the euro and the pound. That would be pretty much one directional. If we get an NFP number that is actually higher than last month's number, which I highly doubt, right? It could happen, but highly doubt that we are actually going to get a number that's actually above 256,000. 2 consecutive months of surprises in the NFP numbers. It's very rare. It does happen, but it's very rare. So yeah, the forecast goes up to 205. So we're probably going to be looking at a number closer to 200,000. I think we might get about 190. We'll see. But I think my own calculation points to about 190,000. So we'll see what happens here in terms of market reaction. Unemployment rate is stable at 4.1%, but I think we might actually get a little bit of a surprise on the unemployment numbers here. We might get a lower number, or we might actually go back up to 4.2%. But if it does come in as per consensus at 4.1%, I think that's pretty magical, in all honesty, because we got huge misses on the NFP numbers here last month. I'm not sure if there's going to be any revision from last month's number. I think we might actually see a revision. If we do get a revision to the downside last month, we need to kind of understand how big that revision is, and then compare it to the consensus that we have, or the actual NFP numbers. So it is going to be a little bit tough to look at tonight, because we do expect revisions to happen on last month's number. I think it was a little bit way too high. But if the revision is only 10,000 or 20,000 below, I don't think that's going to impact the market a lot. But if it's revised down to below 200,000, then it would actually cause a negative on the US dollar. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Average hourly earnings per month is expected to remain stable at 0.3%. Average hourly earnings year on year expected to drop down a little bit to 3.8%. Okay. Hello from Bali. How are you in Bali? Heard Bali's been raining lately, right? Anyway, let's get started. We got about 5 minutes. Let's do our position. So as I say, with the pound USD, we're not able to straddle the pound USD. Definitely keeping an eye out on the volume as well. This is on the hourly time frame. But yeah, I need to point out that we do have the support trend line here. We can go into the 15-minute time frame, and you can take a look at the movement in the market here. We're not going to be able to straddle this, but very high probability that we could actually break a triangle. So we'll trade after we have that confirmation on the 50 minutes. But yeah, the pound USD, we're not able to straddle that. On the euro USD, we are still able to straddle this to a certain degree. But if you take a look at it on the 15-minute time frame, it has been pushing a little bit lower. We still can straddle this, because on the hourly time frame, we're still looking at that range that we have here. But it is going to be a little bit higher, because if we go into the hourly time frame here and then we do our buy stop, that's going to be very far from where we are. I think we're going to be looking at about 25 pips ish, if we're waiting for that breakout to the upside. But that's the only level that we have there. And on the sell order that we have here on the 15-minute time frame, we will take the nearest stop here but we do want to extend this a little bit lower. You know, you really want to be safe, then you need to break this one here. This one here is more for longer term positioning. So post NFP, if we do break lower than that, we might go short again. But for now, I want to keep the range tight. We want to go sell stop at 1.0365. Your buy stop is going to be at 1.04. And that's the part where I'm not that comfortable because that's the psychological price level on the Euro USD. Pound USD, we're not straddling this one. I'll leave this one be. Dollar Japanese yen also, this one here, I think there's a lot of pressure here. Unfortunately, again, we're not going to be able to straddle the dollar yen, but we will trade dollar yen after this. Aussie USD, you can straddle Aussie USD. Going by the 15-minute time frame, I think we're still good here. Very close to the sell stop positioning here. And you definitely want to have it at 62.75. Yeah, about 62.73. Just to give it a little bit more room. In terms of the buy stop, it is a little bit high. Even on the 15-minute time frame, we're going to be looking at that push around 63. So yeah, safer to be at 63, but I think we might actually be able to react before we get to 63. But for now, the sell stop on Aussie USD is going to be 62.73. Buy stop is going to be at 63. New Zealand USD, you can straddle this, but you know it is very risky at this point in time. We have about 2 more minutes. Hopefully we didn't break sooner, but yeah, it will be below, you know, it's probably going to be about 65, 67 if you're going to be looking for a sell stop. And the buy stop, it's pretty clear. You do have it there pretty much at 56.90. Yeah. Buy stop at 56.90. Dollar Canadian definitely can straddle dollar Canadian. This one here is you need to look at it on the hourly time frame. Range is here and there. We are going to be looking at 1.4370. All right, 1.4370 for the buy stop. And for the sell stop, we'll go with 1.4260. Right? Reason being is I don't want to go into the 15-minute time frame. There's a lot of noise on this one here. We can create a smaller sell stop if you want to. You can have it a little bit closer. That's going to put us slightly below 1.43. You can have it at 1.4295, about there. But yeah, only one buy stop. You got 2 sell stops on the Canadian. So feel free to act on that if you want to. Dollar Swiss, we're not going to be straddling this. Reason being, this one here is actually inside a parallel channel. This one here is going to be a little bit tough to trade, but we will trade post data. All right, so those are going to be the positions for now. Gold will trade it after the NFP numbers, so don't worry about it. All right, numbers going to get released, and pretty much now. Well, there we go. It's just shooting up. New Zealand USD, Euro USD, so we need to cancel New Zealand USD. I'm expecting the number to be a little bit lower. So everything is triggered. Euro USD is triggered. Aussie USD is triggered, and the Canadian is not triggered yet. Number is 143,000, way below consensus. No revision, luckily. And the unemployment rate, as I said, it's impossible to get it at 4.1%. It does come in at 4%. So average hourly earnings has also increased to 0.5%. Average hourly earnings year on year has increased to 4.1%. This is not good. We only have one negative for the US dollar. So yeah, I think the sell stop, I don't think this is working. We basically need to place a stop order, sorry, a stop loss on this one here. Once it hits that, I think we need to reverse on the Euro USD. And the Pound USD, we're waiting for that. Dollar Yen, we're waiting for that. Aussie USD, also this is likely going to be pushing lower. I would actually cut my losses now. No point holding on to the position. I would much prefer to just reverse our position right now. And starting with the Pound USD, waiting for confirmation on the Pound USD. Euro USD, I want a sell stop a little bit lower, about below 1.0350. Aussie USD, I think we will trade Aussie USD short right now, and our stop loss is going to be up here. That's about 63 cents on the Aussie USD. Target wise, we're going to be targeting a little bit lower on the Aussie USD. If we go by the Fibonacci on the Aussie USD, I think we can target a lot lower than what it is. We're going to be looking at, we're going to be aiming for at least 50% on this one here. So it is a lot. Like in terms of risk reward ratio, it's definitely 1 to 3 or anything like that. So yeah, Aussie USD, we triggered that. New Zealand USD, I might actually want to skip New Zealand USD for a bit. I will do a sell stop on New Zealand USD, but definitely not looking for a buy stop anymore on New Zealand USD. I want a drop below 56.50 on New Zealand USD. Dollar Canadian, still in range. Dollar Canadian, we will keep the sell stop and the buy stop. Dollar Swiss, not trading this on gold. Probably want to skip gold at this point in time, or you can go short gold at this point in time if you want to. Just we'll probably have a very tight stop loss on gold. Stop loss on gold is going to be at 28.70, and in terms of target level, we are going to aim for that low there. This is going to give us more than 1-to-1 to risk reward ratio. All right, gold, we're moving. Aussie, we're moving. Euro USD, I think we're going to hit our sell stop. The pound USD, I think we can go short here right now. But you know, if you want to wait for confirmation, I think you should wait for confirmation because we need to see that broken actually on the hourly time frame. Or the other thing is you can create a sell stop just below this range here. All right. That's basically below 1.2425. The stop loss, sell stop that we have is 1.2415 on the pound USD. Okay, that's pretty much it. Dollar Swiss, I'm not touching Dollar Swiss. Dollar Canadian, we'll leave it. We'll straddle this one here. Gold, you know, we'll keep gold. We got our stop losses and everything else. All right, Nasdaq. Nasdaq, we're probably gonna wait until the U.S. Open is. US 30 is probably much more interesting, in all honesty with you guys. I think the US 30 has a lot more potential to drop to the downside. Bitcoin on the hourly time frame, not doing a lot of movement here, and on the daily time frame, I think it's pretty much well supported, but we're not looking at anything else. All right, are we able to fade anything at this point in time? We probably want to fade the pound USD, but we're looking at the current pressure here. The number again, as I said, it is a mixed number. The NFP number was low, below consensus, 143, but the unemployment rate was good. It's at 4%, and this was the reason why I said, you know, it's impossible that we're going to get it at 4.1%. Unemployment rate, because of the numbers that we had from the previous month, that will skew the unemployment rate that we have. We saw 4%. Average hourly earnings have also gone up. Average hourly earnings year on year gone up significantly as well, 4.1%. So yeah, I think we might be in a scenario where the Fed is actually not able to cut interest rates as aggressively as they want. Okay, market is just coming back into the range here. It's coming back flat right now. We're not breaking any lower on the Euro USD. But yeah, I'm very happy to close out whatever the position is because we were at risk. We had a lot more data that is positive for the US dollar at this point in time. Using USD again being pressured there. Dollar Canadian is a little bit flat. I'm actually pretty surprised Dollar Canadian is actually not jumping up higher. Dollar Swiss within range. Probably not going to be able to trade Dollar Swiss here. Huge volume. You can see the volume spike there on Dollar Swiss. On gold here, this one here is coming back a little bit flat, but we got our stop loss. We're not really concerned because that would be the limit of things to be anyway. Because once we go above that high, we will punch higher on gold. So just keep that in mind. If the position hit your stop loss, I would highly recommend that we actually reverse the position. So it's also good to have a buy stop just slightly higher at 2875. I think 2875, that's going to be a good buy stop just to reverse our position here. Just in case, if we got stopped out, then yeah, we want to reverse our position there. Okay, just in case. But yeah, as it is right now, I think we are kind of stuck. The market is just digesting on what's going on. Alice can still trade while swimming to turn down the hit, whereas Bali is hot. Oh, really? Hey, if Bali is not hot, what's the point? Where's Euro USD going on Nonfarm Payroll news? At this point in time, I think it should be pressured lower. The unemployment rate back to 4%, I think that's a really good sign. And I think the FOMC is going to say, hey, we hit maximum employment, everything is stable. You know, and also the average hourly earnings has gone up as well. You know, the yearly average hourly earnings gone up by 0.2% to 1/10 of a point. I think that's a significant gain on that. All right, so let's see if we can get into pound USD. I'm just waiting for more confirmation. Might be able to trade this on the 5-minute time frame, but you know, are we looking at that opportunity on the pound USD? Because if I were to go short right now, my stop loss, just to put things into perspective, a stop loss is going to be at 60 pips. It's huge because you know you can go for that high there, about 30 pips there if you want. But remember, we spiked both sides, and I think on the 5-minute time frame we actually closed below. It'll be a good idea if we wait for the 15-minute time frame to act on the pound USD. I don't think it's not going to be too late or anything like that. Euro USD. Right now, it is trading a little bit lower here. But, you know, projections-wise on the Euro USD, we have to understand a few things. If we take a look at the retracements, it is capped at 61.8%. So by theory, even on the daily, we're actually going through on this one here. So we could use the daily fib and then come back onto the hourly time frame. And if we take a look at the positioning here, we basically need to break 38.2. But once we clear off that 38.2, and that's the reason why we have our buy stop down there, is once it clears that off, we can target 61.8 and 78.6 on the Euro USD. But, you know, I'm not liking the current data. I'll be honest with you. Very hard for me to say, let's go along the Euro, let's go along the pound USD. At this point in time, I might see the market kind of flatten a little bit, you know, at least for about an hour. Everyone is just digesting information. Dollar Japanese yen, finding it hard to recover. Remember, with the dollar Japanese yen, you know, I think there was a lot of talk on tariffs, a concern on Trump in terms of what he's going to do. And obviously, a run to safe haven is basically what's going on here with the Japanese yen. Also, the Bank of Japan is likely to continue to hike interest rates this year because wages has been going up. That's basically what's pushing the yen. So that's pushing dollar yen a little bit lower here, but dollar yen, be mindful on dollar yen. It does still look a little bit more on the downside. All right, Aussie USD, we got our stop loss. We got stopped out. That's completely fine. I'm not going to chase after this. So if the market does reverse above 63 cents, it needs to go a lot higher than 63 cents. It actually needs to break about 63.50 on the daily for the Aussie USD. So yeah, I think the logic here would actually be I would prefer more on a limit order just on that bias that we have here. But you know, we're basically getting a doji right now on the pound USD. See if we do get a perfect doji on this one here. We got about 5 minutes time, left on the pound USD. I'm actually interested in the pound USD a lot more than all the other currencies out there, just because the Bank of England did cut interest rate yesterday, and but here's the but, right? They do cut interest rates. But the comment was they are actually dovish. They're ready to hike interest rate if inflation doesn't come down. And I think that's basically what the Bank of England's stance is going to be. So the pound USD is actually very interesting if we take a look at it from a technical level on the pound USD here. But yeah, something to keep an eye out. On the pound USD, I'll be waiting on a 15-minute time frame. I want to see what happens here. Are we going to break the resistance or are we going to break support trend line? On the pound USD, we will find out in the next 5 minutes. We will open a position on the pound USD in the next 15 minutes. On the Euro USD, this one here is a little bit flat. I'll just be honest with you. If we don't have that close below 1.0350, not shorting the Euro USD. All right, Aussie USD is stable. I think we got Aussie USD, we got gold. Gold is stable. It is pushing into our stop loss very soon right now. So we'll see what happens. Nearly got smashed there. But yeah, if gold continues to push higher, then I would do a buy stop at 28.75, and then we'll go for a new high on gold. But at this point in time, you have to consider how this has been pushing up higher. We haven't broken the high that was seen 3 days ago. That would be on Wednesday on gold. So yeah, we're also not getting a lot of volume on the daily volume. We're still not getting the volume as of yet. On the early time frame, 15-minute time frame, volume is spiking up, but you can see where it is right now. It's not running up, right? If the market wants to run up right now, it would have done so. I think some traders might actually manage to fade it. I don't want to fade it. I don't think it's worth fading at this point in time. But yeah, let's see if I actually have a template here. Actually, no. Let me bring in the Ichimoku Kinko here a little bit here, because I need to find out what's actually going on here. I'm more interested on the Nasdaq at this point in time, because on the daily time frame, it's just been bouncing off the Ichimoku cloud really strong at this point in time. I think the number is good, and a good number like this, typically the stock market reacts positively as well. So I'm liking this. I think we might actually do a little bit of a buy stop here on the upper range there on the US 30. But yeah, let's see what the number is. 21,830. That was a little bit too high. 21,825. 21,825. 21,825 is too close. 21,830. That's going to be our buy stop. Happy with that. And for the stop loss, I need this to be, it has to be 21,700 at least on this one here. Am I getting it right? Yeah, about there. That was a tad bit closer. 21,600 actually. So we need to aim a lot higher on this one here. We are anticipating a potential move back to 22,000 on this one here at least. So we'll see what happens. We're going to get a good risk-reward ratio, about 1-to-1, very close to it. But yeah, if the Nasdaq does break higher above 21,830, then I would go for a run to 22,000 on Nasdaq. But I'll wait for this one here. I think the market is going to be opening up in about 45 minutes time anyway. The US 30, I would hold off the US 30 because on the daily it is kind of struggling a little bit. This was the box we are looking at. That was the December high, and let me just bring that into perspective. You can see how many times it has failed. It failed last Friday. It failed yesterday at that particular price level. It's very hard to break that level at this point in time. All right, keeping an eye out on Sterling USD. We got 1 more minute to go, and if it does close below the trend line, I prefer to go short on the Pound USD. Euro USD, a little bit on the Doji. Dollar Yen, not really too keen. Aussie USD also rate on the Doji. New Zealand USD also not moving. Dollar Canadian also flat. Dollar Swiss is pushing up really high. I don't think we can go after this. And it's also still contained within the channel anyway, so it need to be a little bit more on the careful side. All right. Yeah, AUD is actually holding on pretty well. What's the direction of the dollar yen? Dollar yen, I'll be honest with you, it's not at a level where I think we can actually start picking up dollar yen. It's also not at a level where I'm really comfortable going short dollar yen. you know, all right, we'll go short on the Pound USD at this point in time. Stop loss on this one here, I don't want it to be too far. I think about 35 pips, it's enough. We'll round it up to 1.2470. Should be 75, but that would put it at 40. So yeah, looking at about 40 pips there. Take profit levels 40. I'll go for, let's see what we can get. Can we get 60 at 1.2430? You know, well, let's push it. I think we might be able to get 65. 1.2425. No, I need a lot more than that. 650. No, I don't like 110. I like 650. That would put us at 2371. I'll take 2380 on the positioning here. Just eyeing this area over here, likely going to be a little bit more on the support side on the Pound USD. But yeah, make sure you got your stop loss. Okay, we're risking 40 pips on this one here. We are aiming for about 60 pips on this one here, so it's barely 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Euro USD, you know, we can go short on Euro USD, but that would be on the basis on a 5-minute time frame. But we're not looking at a very strong volume at this point in time, enough to kind of break through or anything like that. So you got to be a little bit more on the careful side on this one here. Ichimoku Kinko Hill, 15-minute time frame below Ichimoku Kinko Hill. Hourly time frame just transition below Ichimoku Kinko Hill. I much prefer a short position on the Euro USD But if you do go for a short on the Euro USD, I would still prefer the buy stop over there. But yeah, definitely stop loss is going to be above 1.0402, about 1.0425. That would be your stop loss. Target level, we're going to be looking at 61.8%, potentially even lower. I would go closer to 1.0275. That's going to give me a good risk reward ratio on the Euro USD. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit on the longer side on the Euro USD. This one here, I would position myself for that. The data just now just doesn't click. Gold, we already have a short position. We're kind of stuck somewhere there. But yeah, for gold, you can go short if you want to. I think you might get a much better price. Your stop loss is going to be exactly at 2870, non-negotiable. And beyond that, at 2875, we want to reverse the position. We want to have a buy stop at 2875. So this one here, you got to plan it out a little bit. If that 2870 holds, then yeah, we'll continue shorting it. But if it breaks, hits our stop loss, we also want to reverse our position and take a buy on gold. Nasdaq, we'll wait. I'm not gonna go for a sell stop. I do prefer a buy stop. I'm not going to be looking at a sell limit. The US 30, however, I prefer to be looking at a potential sell limit on the US 30. Again, US 30 and Nasdaq, they don't have to be positively correlated or anything like that. And they haven't been. On the other time frame, this one here is still above the Ichimoku cloud, at least on the 15-minute time frame. It is also still holding on above the 15-minute time frame. I don't think we can trade the US 30, not until the US market opens in about 40 minutes time. But yeah, you want to trade the US 30 and Nasdaq, you wait until the US market is open. But for now, Pound USD is one I will take. We basically have a break below that support trend line. But this is on the 15-minute time frame. We need further confirmation on the early time frame. But I think if it stayed steady at the current price level on the early time frame, it will close below that support, and then we're likely going to track back a little bit lower. But I will not be aiming anything lower than where we are aiming. Reason being, I'll show you the fibs on this one here, right? That low, it's at 61.8%. And if it continues to bounce off that low, then we're not going to be looking at further progress to the downside. It's never too late. If it does break that level, I can have a buy stop. I can have a sell stop a little bit lower if you want to, right? Below 1.2350. That would be a good strategy. So you know at least you secure on position, and then you can go you can continue to sell stop on that one there. But I'm happy with the current positioning that we have here. As it is, I would go short on the Pound USD. I would go short on the Euro USD. I do not want to go long the yen. I just don't have any strong indication or anything like that. Have we broken any resistances today? Yes, we have broken some of the resistance that we have. This is a very sharp resistance. We broke it, we tested. But yeah, if you want to go long on the dollar Japanese yen, just to give a little bit of a perspective here, what are we risking here? We are risking about 1 yen, about 95 pips. That's a lot, right? And it's still below the Ichimoku cloud. That's one main reason why I'm not really too keen going long on dollar yen. Is it a good level? Some people say 150 is a good level. It's a good support level. To me, I don't think so. All right. The moment we break 154.50, as I mentioned on the outlook, the moment we lose 154.50, 155, things get a little bit shaky for a lot of carry traders. I don't think we're looking at that strong confirmation to buy in on the dollar yen at this point in time. So someone was asking about dollar yen. What's the direction on the dollar yen? The dollar yen at this point in time, it's a tad too low for me to buy. I don't have any bullish confirmation to buy dollar yen. At the same time, I don't like shorting dollar yen because your move is likely going to be very limited as well. So that's my concern with dollar Japanese yen. At least on the early time frame, it's still below the Ichimoku cloud. From that alone, doesn't give me any justification to go long on dollar yen. Also on the daily, this week we transition. As I say, we lost 154.50. That's it. A lot of bulls are just gonna be like, you know what? We'll wait. We'll see what happens here. So daily is actually below the Ichimoku cloud as well. So not a good indication to go long on dollar yen. It is very risky to go long on dollar yen at this point in time. Again, hourly, we're not looking at anything. On a 15-minute time frame, you might see a little bit of a spike there, here and there. But the candle close that we just had, I don't think that was a good candle close. It basically whips up, it whips the top and bottom as well. So I'm not looking into going long dollar yen, but yeah, happy to go short pound USD, Euro USD. Aussie USD, we have already been short Aussie USD. It is strong, pretty strong. New Zealand USD, it's, we don't, I don't like New Zealand USD. Reason being, I think if we take a look at it on this swing here is actually on the 4-hour time frame swing. So let me just show you that. That's the swing that we're looking at. We haven't have a confirmed close below 23.6. But yeah, if we do, as I said, happy to have the sell stop down there. So sell stop 56.45, right? Happy to have that sell stop at 56.45. And yeah, that would be the sell stop. Take profit level would be around 55.90. Let's see, we get 55.90, 0.5590. Yeah, about 61.8%. Stop loss is probably going to be about 57. So just plan this ahead. But yeah, I think this could be a good trade if we look at this. All right. So that's New Zealand USD. I think something is about to be triggered. Euro USD short. Sorry, pound USD. Pound USD. Oh, we got another. We got another sell stop on the pound USD. Euro USD will also have a sell stop on the Euro USD and pound USD. That's pretty much it. Those two I'm okay. Everything else is all right. I think gold's starting to come down a little bit. So I think that's great. So we'll see. Happy to current positions. I think we got 4. Waiting for NASDAQ. If it does break to the upside, New Zealand USD, we position ourselves on New Zealand USD. Looking for a sell. Dollar Canadian, we still are going to be looking at the straddle. Gold, we have one backup just in case stop loss got hit and everything else. But yeah, that's the current positioning. Anything else you guys want me to look at? But NASDAQ and the US 30, this is something I'll be watching on tonight. Okay. Someone blow Trump. Apple got in at 226. Let's see if we got Apple here. Let's load up Apple. We got Apple here. All right. You got it at 226. You want to get out at 240. I think for Apple, we might be able to see that. I think. Let's check on the hourly time frame, which is basically barely fitting the price. You want to go for 240. I think you can go for 240. If you go in at 226, that's about here. That's a good price. Hey, are you not happy with what you have right now? You got to start moving your stop loss on Apple here. At least on the hourly time frame. I don't know what pre-market is on Apple. I think pre-market is going to be a little bit higher tonight. So yeah, if you want to go for 240, I would, feel free to go for that 240. Should be okay. What of gold? We have been talking about gold. Sorry, I just read your. So for pound and euro, we're currently not targeting lower low on daily. No, I'm not. I'm targeting about 61.8% on both of them. Not really targeting the lower low on the daily. And I don't think we can. I don't think we can target that low. There'll be part 2. I don't think there's actually going to be part 2. But yeah, reason being is I'm actually catching a flight very early. I need to be at the airport kind of in the middle of the night. In just a couple of hours, I'm actually going to be on a flight back to Australia. So I don't think we are actually going to have our second session tonight. But yeah, leaving you guys with the positions that we have. These are going to be the positions. Feel free to screenshot what we have here. But yeah, let me just read it out. We got pound USD. Our stop loss is going to be at 1.2475. Our take profit is going to be at 1.2380. We're running right now about 12 pips in. Euro USD 1.0425. Our take profit on the euro, I haven't adjusted take profit, but yeah, we will be looking at about 61.8%, about 1.03. That's your take profit on the euro. On the Aussie USD, we are aiming, Aussie USD, we're aiming 61.90. All right, 61.90. Let me just adjust that. 61.90. And our stop loss is going to be at 63. Let's give it a bit more room, 63.10. Yeah, I like this. Risking 32 pips for 80 pips. Very happy to leave that there for Aussie. For gold, we got a short position on gold here. And let's see. Let's see if I can modify. Show you where it is right now. Stop loss is going to be at 2870, non-negotiable. Take profit level is going to be at 2840. Right? That's going to give me about 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio, but that's how far I would go on this one here. You know, try not to go short gold for a prolonged period of time, because LPs are still charging more. It costs more to short sell gold, and that's the reason why a lot of people are just not really slamming gold. But you know, we got to look at it from a situational perspective there. But yeah, oil, I'm going to be touching oil. Nvidia, probably not going to be looking at Nvidia a lot. I think I'm not too focused on the tech sectors at this point in time. I think a lot more focus on the US 30. I would really want to see what happens here. Are we going to be like breaking an all-time high on the US 30, or are we going to continue to fail? Market's going to get exhausted eventually. I think we are looking at volumes dropping the past few days here on the US 30. So I think that's market is losing a lot of interest on the US 30. NASDAQ, this one here is pumping. So yeah, I'm happy to have that buy stop there. I think we can push higher here. We might be able to see 22,000 tonight for NASDAQ. Can I aim EU to parity? I think eventually in 2025, maybe, yeah, but you have to consider a few things first. I don't know what the condition is on the whole US dollar. It is severely oversold, in all honesty. And you know, last few days hasn't been that great for the dollar strength anyway. I think on the broader range, 2025 market is kind of anticipating a potential weaker US dollar. Are we going to be looking at parity? I think it's a tough call, but you know, if the FOMC continues to be hawkish and the ECB continues to be dovish, then yeah, I think parity is just a matter of time. It's just that I don't think we're going to be looking at that this month. I doubt we'll see that this month. Probably next month, or you know, maybe about April. Live session on taxi. Yeah, that's crazy, but yeah. All right, those are the positions that we have. These are the the trades that we are going to be leaving on. But that's pretty much it. It was a little bit counterproductive because I have to cut the losses. Otherwise, we will be bleeding right now if we didn't cut the losses from the initial buy stop there. I think we got whipsawed, and if you didn't close it fast enough, we probably got whipsawed into the position there. But yeah. Happy to cut the losses. As I say, be flexible. We look at the data, and the data does point to a number that's a lot better for the US. Average hourly earnings goes up. Average hourly earnings year on year is up. Unemployment rate to 4%. That's stable. FOMC is going to love that, and they're going to say, hey, you know what? I don't have to worry. I don't have to continue cutting rates. The reason why we're cutting rates was because unemployment rate was continuing to push up. Now unemployment rate is now back to 4%, and if number is below consensus, hey, which one is the Fed going to look at? They're going to be looking at the unemployment rate, not the NFE gains. So you got to keep that into perspective. All right. Okay, guys. Let's wrap it up for tonight. Don't forget the code. It's Nonfarm 2025. And I will see you guys on Tuesday for our theory session. And on Wednesday, we will trade the CPI number. It's going to be a very interesting CPI number because we have the unemployment rate down to 4%. and I think that's going to be, market is going to price in a lot for the CPI numbers. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. Just wait for the outlook on Monday. I'll see you guys next week. Stay safe. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you soon.